So we thought we would give you a little bit of a tummy vacuum stack. This will really switch on transversus abdominis, and Callie and Zach are going to help us with this. So we'll ask you at home and Callie and Zach to get into a quadruped position, just as a way to review what we mean by tummy vacuum. We've done this in other videos, and we're going to add some variation today. So in a quadruped position, knees stacked under hips, hands stacked under shoulders. Find that neutral spine. If that's a difficult thing for you, definitely watch some of our other videos about how to do that. Ears lined up with shoulders. Pretend a mama cat has the back of your neck and she's pulling the back of your neck toward the ceiling. Inhale through your nose and let your belly get fat, going down toward the ground. Exhale through pursed lips and pump the belly button up toward the spine. You're actively doing this. Inhale, let the belly go toward the ground. Exhale, pump the belly up toward the spine. And the spine, here's the key part, remains in neutral as you do this. Inhaling, exhaling, pump the belly button up toward the spine. Okay, so that's just a quick review of what tummy vacuum is. We're going to add a lot of variation here for transversus abdominis now. So, lying face down on your mat or on the floor at home, whatever you've got. You might put your forehead and on your hands. Feet are less than hip distance apart, definitely not squeezed together. And then if you'll just take one leg up out to the side. And on the opposite side, you'll feel the ASIS of your pelvis on the mat or the floor. A harder surface will give you more sensation. If you've got some belly fat in the way, don't fret about it. Just think about where your hips are in space. Try to feel the front of your hip on the floor. Tuck that back toe of the straight leg. That'll give you more sensation. And if you lift your quad or your knee toward the ceiling, you might even get more sensation. And the points that I want you to really think about are the hips on the ground and the rib cage on the ground, on the side of the straight leg. In this case, both Zach and Callie have their left leg extended. From here, inhale through your nose, exhale through pursed lips, and on every exhale, pump the belly button up toward the spine. Repeat that a couple times. Long exhales, pumping the belly button up toward the spine. And as you do that, you're drawing the abdominal contents away from the floor, and you may feel more sensation at the bottom of your rib cage and the top of your hips as they touch the floor. And then there's this sort of hollowness between the 2 points. And again, you can work along with Zach and Callie at home. I think the cues are easy enough to follow. So you can kind of glance up at the screen, take a look at them, and then follow my verbal cues too. Okay, so we'll call that about 5 breaths. Let's switch to the other side. So in this case, both Zach and Callie are cocking their left leg into the air, and the right leg is extended, toes tucked, knee reaching toward the ceiling, thinking about those 2 points of the rib cage and the pelvis. With every long exhale, bring the abdominal contents away from the floor. Maybe just 2 more breaths there. And on this last breath, really tune into the bony surfaces that are in contact with the floor and the soft surfaces that are moving away from the floor. Then we're going to ask you to find a child's pose position. So pushing back into child's pose. Toes can be tucked or ankles plantar flexed, whatever's comfortable for you here. What I really want you to contact with your awareness is the fact that your belly is pressed against your thighs. Really try to get those hips to sink down toward the rib cage. Be in firm contact with your thighs, with your belly, which may in some ways feel uncomfortable because it's making you breathe in ways that you don't normally efficiently breathe in. So you're having to breathe into your back more because the front of your rib cage is under compression. But we're going to use that to our advantage to switch on transversus abdominis even more. So with every out breath here, draw the soft contents of the abdomen toward your spine. We'll spend about 3 breaths here. Remembering to inhale through the nose, exhale through pursed lips. If at any time you feel a little like you're going to hyperventilate, take a break and just work with the muscle part of it and breathe normally. Okay, now from child's pose, we're going to go into puppy pose. So sort of an inverted position here. Your forehead can be on the ground if that's comfortable for you, but you're really getting as much extension in the lumbar spine as you can here, reaching through the hands. The inversion part of this is the important part. So think about your organs sliding up toward your thoracic cavity. This should feel kind of good. And then just get scoopy in that soft part of your abdomen with every exhale, drawing the belly button up toward the spine. Again, at this point, if there's just too much breath, take a break from the deep breathing and just pump that belly button up toward the spine with muscular action. When you can come back to the breath, come back to the breath. Great. And then after this next breath, we're going to come into a quadruped position, the same position you were in before. Now from here, find that neutral spine again. So we found our neutral spine and we're pumping the belly button up toward the spine with every exhale. On your next exhale, keep your belly button pumped up toward the spine. At this point, take a break from the deep breathing and just breathe normally. Keep the belly button up toward the spine and breathe normally, and then lift the left hand barely off the mat or floor, and then the right knee barely off, as if you could just slip a piece of paper under there. Belly button stays pumped up. Return those spots to the ground, the hand and the knee, and lift the other side. Belly button stays pumped up. Root through the thumb and the pointer finger of the hand that's in contact with the ground. Again, belly button is sucked up toward the spine. Place the hand and the knee back down and go to the other side. Again, the belly button is not dropping down here. You're keeping it tucked up. Neutral spine, hand and knee come back down. One more on the other side. And hand and knee come back down. Now we're going to come into what we call an inspector sit. So you might remember sitting this way when you played with your cars on the ground as a kid, or your dolls, or your Legos, whatever you were into. From here, you're going to feel like your rib cage is pressed into your thigh. In this case, Callie's right, and yep, Zach's right too. So rib cage is pressed into the thigh, and we're just doing the same thing. On every exhale, bring the belly button back toward the spine. We'll maybe just do 2 breaths here. And then we'll switch to the inspector sit on the other side. So we say inspector sit because you might use this position to look at something on the forest floor, inspect something on the ground. Good. Now let's return to the child's pose position one more time and add a little piece here. So now let's add in this idea of a reverse Kegel. So you're used to doing Kegels where you squeeze the pelvic floor, many people are, but I really want you to get the idea here of on your exhale, just let the pelvic floor go. It might even feel, it should feel as if you're having to relax the muscles that you would relax when you use the restroom. So the muscles you'd have to relax to pee. And you may even feel a little bit of the onset of a micturition reflex, like you might have to go to the bathroom. Get used to that sensation. Get used to the sensation of the ischia widening. This is something we should do regularly, just relaxing the pelvic floor. And then back to our quadruped position, and we're going to do the same thing. So just let your belly relax toward the ground. You might not even work with your breath too much here. Just relax the belly completely. Decompress. This is the opposite of a tummy vacuum. This is a tummy unvacuum. And at the same time, just relax the pelvic floor. Feel the ischia widen. Feel the space between the ischia or the tailbones getting really relaxed. Feel the sensation that, wow, I could maybe even use the restroom. Obviously, we don't want you to do that right now, but that's the sensation. Now let's add the breath. So inhale, just naturally, and exhale. And as you exhale, relax with that reverse Kegel. And inhale, and then relax with the reverse Kegel. And now just take a supine position on the floor, lying face up, knees bent, feet flat. And we're going to be finishing up this switching on of your true core, your diaphragm, your transversus abdominis, and your pelvic floor with some supine work. So from here, think about 4 corners, and you could put your thumbs on the bottom of your rib cage and 2 fingers on your ASISs. So you form this sort of like box. So the thumbs are on the top of the rib cage toward the ceiling, the part of the rib cage toward the ceiling, and draw a line, an imaginary line between your 2 thumbs, both thumbs and both fingers, and then both fingers. So that's a box. We want everything inside that box to just sink toward the ground. And we want everything inside that box to just sink toward the ground on an exhale. So inhale, exhale through pursed lips. Let's do one more there. Now, belly button stays pumped toward the ground, and bring the right leg up into a tabletop position. Now, inhale and exhale there, and with every exhale, get that belly button to go even further back. Now let's bring the other leg up into tabletop, placing the first leg on the ground, bring the other leg up into tabletop. Maybe 2 breaths there. So now that leg goes back down. Bring the first leg back up into tabletop, and then the second leg up into tabletop, so you have both legs there. Try to maintain neutral pelvis, which we've talked about in other videos. And draw the belly button back with exhale. Just 2 breaths here, 2 more. And last one. Bring the right leg out of tabletop, left leg out of tabletop. Extend the legs down, relax the arms by your side or up above your head, wherever you want. And just, again, let the soft contents of your abdomen sink toward the ground. This time you don't have to worry about a controlled breath. Just breathe however you'd like to. Notice what's switched on. You might feel a little more tone in your abdomen. And tomorrow, you may be a little sore from this true core work. So that's our tummy vacuum stack. Thanks for working along with us.